For this little chunk of time that we carve out from the rest of the week. So we turn to page 189 for the words of Shalom Aleichem, peace be unto you. Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom. Shabbat, we do so with a little extra bit of light. So it's my pleasure to call upon Nicole, who's going to lead us in one of the readings on page 20 or 21, and help us with the lighting of the Shabbat candles on page 23.
So we'll read on page 20 under L. On this day, we will see the world in a new way. On this day, we will add new spirit to our lives.
On this day, we would taste a new time of peace. We would rest from desire for gain, ambition for things.
We would raise our eyes to look beyond time and space toward eternity. And may we come to see the world in a new light.
As it is written, let a new light shine upon Zion, and may it be our blessing to see its splendor.
page 24, the words of Yedid Nefesh.
We join together on the top of page 27. The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week we live under the tyranny of things of space. On Shabbat we try to become attuned to holiness and time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. And as we turn to the world of creation and the creation of the world that is Shabbat, we welcome the Shabbat. L'chadodi. L'chadodi l'ikrat kala, b'nei Shabbat l'kabela, l'chadodi l'ikrat kala, b'nei Shabbat l'kabela. Come On page 34, Frank, would you like to lead us in How Can I Sing?
How can I sing of day and night when it is God who formed them?
How can I sing of heaven and earth when it is God who decreed them?
How can I sing of mountains and hills when it is God who planted them?
How can I sing of seas and deserts when it is God who begot them?
How can I sing of earth and stillness when it is God who gave them meat?
I shall sing to God who fashioned all and is beyond all. It is to God I shall sing. Together on page 36, we rise physically or spiritually for the words of Baruch Hu. Prayer for creation on the bottom of page 36. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim v'chokhmah poteach she'arim u'bitfunah mishaneh itim u'machalif et hazmanim u'msader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono orei yom v'layla Golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom, u'mevi laila, uma'avdil ben yom u'ben laila. Adonai tzvaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, amariv aravim. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta. Out of great love, God has given us Torah. We follow the mitzvot. We bring those teachings into our lives, into the world. Page 38. praise you, Eternal One, who loves your people Israel. As we turn to the words of the Shema and Ve'ahavta, as we recite these words, we rise in our hearts or in our bodies. We open our ears to listen, to hear the sound, the word Shema, and to contemplate the meaning of what it means to be echad, to be one. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meudecha ve'hayu advarim ha'eleh asher Anochi Metzacha Hayom al Panecha V'shiantam Vanecha V'tivartam V'shivtecha V'techa U'lechtecha V'derech U'shoftecha V'techa U'shartam Ve'od V'techa Ve'ayut V'tevod V'hinecha U'chtatam Al Mizuzot Beitecha U'visharecha L'man tizkeru Va'asitem B'chol mitzvotai V'litem kedoshim Le'elokechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzeti Echem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Emet. On page 42, at the bottom of the page, Beatrice, would you lead us in reading Bet? The bottom of the page. Beatrice, would you lead us there?
I merely stand at the sea and turn to face the desert stretched endlessly still.
My arms reach for the sky, and I want to sing the song rising inside me.
My mouth open, I stop. Where are the words? Where the melody? In a moment of panic, my vision goes blank. Can I take a step without knowing a destination? Will I falter? Will I fall? Will the ground sink away under me?
The song still unformed. How can I sing? To take the first step, to sing a new song, is to close one's eyes and dive into unknown waters, for a moment knowing nothing, risking all, but then to discover the waters are friendly, the ground is firm, and the song rises again. Be Israel and saved us from arms stronger than our own. So may you redeem all those who are still oppressed and persecuted. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, Eternal One, Redeemer of Israel. As it gets darker out, as we lay down at night, we ask that we may rest peacefully, that we may be watched over and protected until we awaken in the morning. We sing together these words, Hashkiveinu. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom, Havidenu Shoreinu Lechai. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom, Havidenu Shoreinu Lechai. Save us for the sake of rain. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom, Havidenu Shoreinu Lechai. We turn to the words of Chatzi Kaddish, page 49. Yitgadol, Yitkadosh Me'Rabah, Be'amad Yivarach Yirutei V'yamlich Malchutei, L'chai Echol U'Yom L'echol, U'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agava, Ba'agava, U'vizman Ka'il, V'yimeru Amen, Yishmei Rabo V'Orach, Le'olam Lo Le'amaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnasei, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalel, Shmei D'Kudasham, Le'elam Kol Birchata V'Shirata, Tush B'chata V'nechemata, Ka'viran Le'alma, V'yimeru Amen. As we prepare to step into the words of the Amidah, we meditate on the meaning of the prayers of those who came before us, of where we find strength, how we create holiness in this world. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Kofi Ad Yitzilatecha, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Avotenu V'Imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Rivka, Elohei זוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומרי גאולה לבניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר מושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם וזרוע זרע. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, לחיי כל אתה רב יושיע. נחוקה חיים וחסד, לחיי כל רחמים רבים. סולק נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עבר. מלחמות חמות גבורות, ומדור לך, ולמיתו חיי, ומצליח ישוע. ונאמנתה להחיות תבוא, ברוך אתה אדוני, לחיי עבור. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our moments with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like the softness of moonlight, illumines the darkness in which we walk. And we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place? And we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Holiness of this day is holy, this day is a day of joy, a day of Shabbat 53. Take some time now to meditate on the meaning of Avodah, what it means to pray, what it means for our prayers to reach the heavens, to reach our hearts, to know where they need to go. The words of Ritzeh on page 57. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael, Aleinu, page 60. We gratefully acknowledge eternal God. You are our creator, our preserver, the rock of our life, and our protecting shield. We give thanks to you for our lives which are in your hands, for our souls which are in your keeping, for your wondrous providence and your continuous goodness which you bestow upon us day by day. Truly your mercies never fail, your love and kindness never cease. Therefore do we put our trust in you. God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm and praise your name in truth. Eternal God, whose name is goodness, we give you thanks and praise. Page 63, Shalom Rav, great peace. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Ocha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Ocha, Tasim Le'olam. Yihatov Melech Adon, Lechol HaShalom. Yihatov Melech Adon, Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Ocha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Ocha, Tasim Le'olam. V'tov Echa levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Ocha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Ocha, Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. We take a few moments to pray the words of our own hearts. Shalom Aleinu, ve'al Yisrael. Israel, ve'al bnei Adam. This Shabbat, we are reading in Parshat Shalach Lecha. Begins with Numbers chapter 13. And within this parsha is the very famous story of the 12 scouts, or the 12 spies, the Meraglim, who come back from their journey. They've been sent to scout out the land. Two of those 12 spies, Joshua and Caleb, suggest that although the land is fertile, there will be a lot of challenges ahead. But they do feel that with the support of God, they will be able to succeed and that the people should go forward. The majority, however, the 10, they talk about the strength of the land, but they're more concerned that they will look like grasshoppers to the giants. And instead they cry out that we should go back to Egypt. They should go back to the good old days. This week, in the midst of studying Shalach Lecha and also commentaries on the Parsha, I've been simultaneously following the news of the world and the rulings from the U.S. Supreme Court, from the originalists on the court, who seek to return to the good old days. In the span of this week, the U.S. Supreme Court has handed down 3 decisions that have removed many rights that were taken for granted. One of them deals with the right of separation of church and state. Another, a ruling that severely impacts states who want sensible gun laws because it removes federal protections. And today's decision that impacts a pregnant person's right to make choices over their own body. This morning, in a decision that we knew was coming more than a month ago due to leaked documents last month, the Supreme Court of the United States handed down its opinion on Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. And this opinion results in a reversal of the precedent set half a century ago in Roe versus Wade and in the case of Planned Parenthood versus Casey 2 decades ago. Roe and Casey both guaranteed a constitutional right to reproductive health care, enabling tens of millions of pregnant people to terminate pregnancies that threaten their well-being. This returns the right to regulate the procedure to individual states. The result of the Dobbs decision means that hundreds of millions of Americans in about half of the 50 states will soon lack access to safe and legal abortion care. This decision not only jeopardizes the health and the lives of millions of people who will now face impossible choices between controlling their futures and their health and breaking the law. And the lack of access to safe and legal reproductive health care threatens to undo the progress that women have made in the workplace, to strip them of economic power, make it harder to achieve their dreams, and it will lead to a much higher maternal mortality rate and increased rates of homicide and intimate partner violence. Furthermore, it will disproportionately impact those with the fewest resources. I'm seriously concerned that other rights that all have struggled to achieve could be removed in the name of going back to the good old days. And I want to think about with you what those good old days were like. During those good old days, women, people of color, Two-Spirit LGBTQ+ people in interracial and same-sex partnerships, did not have equal rights as human beings in the eyes of the law. And these are rights that we have fought hard for. When the anticipated news of today's decision was revealed in a leaked opinion in May, the advocates made it clear that if Roe were to be overturned, it could lead to the decimation of other Supreme Court cases in the U.S. that depend on the same legal principle. And these include Griswold, which guaranteed marital couples the right to use contraception, Lawrence, which undid sodomy prohibitions in the United States, and Obergefell, which legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. In fact, Justice Clarence Thomas today, in his own individual opinion, wrote that overturning Roe should only be the first step. He wrote, in future cases, we should reconsider all of this court's substantive due process precedents, including Griswold, Lawrence, and Obergefell, those 3 precedent cases that I just spoke about. He said, because any substantive due process decision is demonstrably erroneous. Now, many of us here in Canada may automatically assume that because our laws and our legislative process is different, we need not be concerned. But I think that it would be wrong for us to take for granted the rights and freedoms that we have in Canada. And moreover, as Jews, we should be concerned. Jewish tradition has considered the question of abortion for millennia, and as far back as the book of Exodus, our tradition did not see a fetus as having equal status with an extant human being. Throughout the centuries, our sages have consistently taught that the health and the safety of the mother is the paramount concern until the moment of birth. Judaism holds that a fetus is not a human being until it takes its first breath. In some cases, up until that time, the fetus may be considered a rodef, a pursuer, who can potentially end the life of the mother. And every religious text we hold sacred, from the Torah to the Mishnah to the Talmud and beyond, speak of another's rights over those of the fetus. Jewish law is very clear that if carrying a fetus threatens the health of the mother, it's obligatory to terminate the pregnancy to save the mother's life. And that threat is not limited to the physical health of the mother. It includes the mental and psychological health as well. Moreover, moral questions such as whether to terminate a pregnancy should be made exclusively by the pregnant person, guided by her physicians, her family, her religious ideology, and her conscience. So our Jewish values and our Jewish morals and ethics call upon us to keep abortion legal and accessible, just as all healthcare should be. As Jews, we cannot be bystanders when people are endangering lives by banning a safe medical procedure because of their personal feelings. We cannot be bystanders when people are banning a life-saving medical procedure for religious reasons. And as Canadians, we cannot be bystanders. Today, our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, stated, "The news coming out of the United States is horrific. My heart goes out to the millions of American women who are now set to lose their legal right to abortion. I cannot imagine the fear and anger that you are feeling right now. No government, politician, or man should tell a woman what she can and cannot do with her body. I want women in Canada to know that we will always stand up for your right to choose." And our Social Development and Families Minister, Karina Gold, has said that Canada will welcome U.S. women seeking to access abortion services in Canada. As well, Public Safety Minister Marco Mendicino has also instructed Canadian Border Services Agency officials to allow free passage to U.S. women seeking abortion. I invite you to join with me as Solel partners with our Reformed Synagogues Network to arrange support for those who may be coming to Canada in need of reproductive health care that they will no longer be able to access in certain states in the United States. We'll be declaring our synagogues as safe spaces for Americans seeking abortion in Canada. If needed, we will house them, look after them, and help fund their travel. We are a community that strives to find meaning in our lives through the lens of our Reformed Jewish identity. And now more than ever before, we have an obligation to join together in our less than perfect world to work hard to help our neighbors to access life-saving health care. Won't you join with me? Shabbat Shalom. We turn to the words of Mishaberach as we pray for healing. We pray for healing of body. We pray for healing of spirit. On this Shabbat, especially in our community, we are praying for Shirley Herman, Esther Wuchenmarkt, Rick Valentine, Simon Green, Marlene Friedman, Linda Levenheck, Jack Kudlatz, Francis Van Tyne, Suzanne Scher-Stimson, Bernie McLennan, Harriet Lachman, Ellen Becker, Nicola Proetti, Rebecca Bodbull, Parker Kaiko, Philip Shepard, Carl Katz, Nicole Hansen, Gilon Neruzzi, Madeline Kitson, Kathy Kitson, Sharon Burr, Dee Hickey, Lorraine DaCosta, Jack Richmond, Nettie Sandelevici, Adela Tsur, Ann Steinbeck, Erwin Milgram, Evelyn Tyndall, Amanda Schenk, Daniel Black, Jean Elizabeth Pitt, Fran Cook Kaiser, Shmuel Ben Devora, and Pauline Portnoy. I invite you to share aloud or to hold in your heart the names of those for whom you are praying for healing on this Shabbat. As we sing these words, we pray that they may find comfort and strength.
May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishebeirach imotenu mikor habracha avotenu. Bless those that need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We turn to the words of Aleinu on page 149. Aleinu means it's on us. We're called upon to try to make the world a better place, to try to find oneness, wholeness, and peace. Ein Od. We rise together in body or spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gdula liyotzeh bereshit, asher samkel kinu li'ached et shemo, v'gor aleinu le'amlich malchuto, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, achei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shelnotei shamayim ve'yosei haaretz, u'shari karo b'shamayim imav, u'shlirotu zo, v'govei le'omim, u'Eloheinu Eloheinu, Elokeinu efesumato, kakatu v'torato, yadadayim ve'yadadayim ve'ashrotam el levavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, bashamayim b'ma'al, ve'al-haaretz mitachat Elohim. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Page 158. You are with us in our prayer, in our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble and pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. At this time, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those of our friends and neighbors, and all those people whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. At this time, we're in Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Sylvia Kaiser, the mother of Jeff Kaiser and the mother-in-law of Jocelyn Weber, and for Richard Kaiser, the brother of Jeff Kaiser and the brother-in-law of Jocelyn Weber. We recall the following, whose yard site, the anniversary of whose death occurs this week: Marie Leeming, the mother of Darlene Friedman; Fanny Kugelmass, the mother of Michael; Bernard Tash, the father of Marlene and Seymour, and the father-in-law of Tom Dennis, the grandfather of Andrew; Hirsch Wanowitz, the cousin of Lila Wurzba; Blanche Cohen, the mother of Beverly Rothschild, the grandmother of Lisa and Debbie, the great-grandmother of Ethan, Hayden, Emma, and Adina; Paula Korda, the aunt of Roz Weisberg; Kelly Wright, the grandmother of Rachel; Sigmund Steinmetz, the grandfather of Steve Steinmetz; Lydia Schneider, the mother of Sylvia Loeffler, and the grandmother of Romina and Julieta; Edward Isidore Tavis, the father of Peter; Irving Bornstein, the father of Linda Blofield; Norman Zone, the brother-in-law of Harold and Susie and Arlene Botnick; and Harold Lustig, the cousin of Rita Grossman. If there are other names that you would like to recite for Kaddish this Shabbat, you're invited to speak those names aloud or to hold them in your heart. At this time, we ask those who are in mourning to please rise first, so that we might say to Min Hamakom Tinachamu, may you find comfort in God's sheltering presence. Now we all rise to support those who are mourning and to say Kaddish for those who have no one to say it for them. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechonu v'yomechonu, v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agalal v'zman kariv, v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah v'barach le'olam v'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yipar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'riku, le'ela v'yimchol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran v'yama v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah v'yishemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol b'nei Adam, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all those who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved among us, among all the people of Israel, and among all the nations and families of earth. We say together, amen. Please be seated. At this time, representing our board, I'd like to call upon Arlene Botnick to share some greetings and announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi, and Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for your words tonight. I don't think any of us can be at ease or not be concerned with the decisions that have been made by the Supreme Court in the U.S., nor can we rest assured that changes like that could not affect us as well. So it doesn't matter what our sexual orientation, what our faith is, what our skin color is, those laws that have been taken away, what the Senate has enacted in destroying Roe versus Wade, this affects all of us, and other laws that could affect us as well. So these are things that I hope we all, as Jews, as a Reformed congregation, will stand up against the injustices that our Supreme Court in the U.S. has imposed upon women at this point. So first of all, this is the last weekend that we will have to sign in, but the expectation is, please, to continue wearing our masks over our noses. I know it's not comfortable. I'm forever grabbing Kleenex myself, but it does protect the more vulnerable amongst us. So although we won't have to sign in, masks are going to continue until we feel it is a safety issue no longer. Tomorrow morning there'll be a 10 a.m. service, and next week During July, as a matter of fact, there will only be Friday night services at 8 p.m. and the regular Friday and Saturday services will start up again on August 5th and 6th. Please, your dues invoices have been mailed out to members. Please check your email, your bulk mail, your junk mail, wherever. If you haven't received your invoice, please call the office and Carol will see that it gets to you. And this Sunday between 1 and 3, the Interfaith Council Appeal is having its annual summer picnic. It's at the mosque at 5761 Coopers Avenue, Mississauga. If anybody is interested in attending, please speak to either the rabbi or myself. And there is January 29th, Mayor Crombie's Mayor's Pride Social. Again, for more information, please call the office and we'll be able to help you through it. And of course, donations to the Ukraine through the World Union for Progressive Judaism are still welcome. Everybody have a wonderful, healthy, safe summer. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Arlene. We're going to conclude our service with Kiddush for Shabbat. You can find that on page 163 as I invite Leonard to lead us. Please rise and join with them.
Now the whole universe, sky, earth, and all their array was completed. With the seventh day, God had ended the work of creation and rested with all work completed. Then God blessed the seventh day and called it holy. For with this day, God had completed the work of creation. Elohim melech haolam, borei peri ha'adam, baruch atah Elohim melech haolam, asher kishanos mitzvotav, v'ratzah b'amanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'yahavav ratzah v'kivanu, v'yikara
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We wish you a Shabbat of peace, of rest, of joy. Please come and join us in the foyer, or where are we set up? In the foyer or the social hall? Please come join us for Oneg. I guess it's in the social hall. Everybody at home, enjoy some morning Shabbat in your kitchen. Shabbat Shalom.